My girlfriend said, "If you want me back, you'll apologize to my father and ask for his blessing." I agreed. I drove to his house and showed him the year's worth of texts from his daughter detailing how she was cheating on me and planning to leave me as soon as I put a ring on it. His blessing was to help me pack her things. The fight that ended my engagement started, as most of our fights did, over something completely insignificant. It was a Tuesday night. I had just gotten home from a long day at the construction site where I work as a project manager. My fiancée, Megan, was upset because I had forgotten to pick up the specific brand of artisanal, oat-based, ethically sourced coffee creamer she liked. I had bought a different, perfectly good brand of oat creamer. This was, apparently, a crime against humanity. The argument escalated with breathtaking speed. The coffee creamer was not the real issue, of course. It was a symbol. A symbol of my alleged thoughtlessness. My lack of attention to detail. My failure to prioritize her very specific needs. Within 10 minutes, we were in the middle of a full-blown, relationship-ending fight. "I can't do this anymore, David," she yelled, her face flushed with a theatrical, well-rehearsed anger. "I can't be with a man who doesn't listen. Who doesn't care. We're done." She declared our 3-year relationship over because of a carton of coffee creamer. I didn't react. I just stood there, a strange sense of calm washing over me. Because I knew with absolute certainty that this wasn't a real fight. It was a performance. It was the final scene of a play she'd been writing for over a year, and she had just delivered her big, dramatic monologue. I knew this because I had read the script. Let me explain. About a year ago, I discovered something by complete accident. We have a shared tablet, an iPad, that usually sits on the coffee table. I picked it up one evening to look up a recipe. Her iMessage account was still open. The first message on the screen was from a man named Julian. It was a picture of them at lunch, a lunch she had told me was a work meeting. The message below it read, "Can't wait until you're finally free from that boring project manager, and we can do this every day." My heart hammered in my chest. I scrolled up, and there it was. A year's worth of their conversations. A detailed, time-stamped chronicle of her affair. But it was more than just an affair. It was a plan. A cold, calculated financial and emotional exit strategy. They mocked my job, my friends, my quiet, stable life. They detailed their secret meetings, their weekend trips, and they laid out their future. The plan was simple. Megan would continue to live with me, enjoying the financial security of my steady income while I saved up for an engagement ring. She was to push for a specific size and quality of diamond. The moment I put a ring on it, she would invent a massive, relationship-ending fight. Break up with me. And then, after a respectable waiting period of a few weeks, she and Julian would go public. The ring was the prize, the seed money for their new life together. I sat there for hours that night, my world crumbling around me. My first instinct was to smash the tablet against the wall, to confront her, to scream. But my rage was quickly replaced by a cold, quiet, and deeply patient fury. A private confrontation would be her word against mine. She would lie. She would gaslight me. She would call me a paranoid monster for looking at her messages. No. A betrayal this profound deserved a more elegant, more absolute consequence. So, I made a decision. I would play my part. I would be the loving, clueless boyfriend. And I would collect the evidence. Every few weeks, when she was out, I would open the tablet and meticulously screenshot their ongoing conversations. I saved them to a secure, encrypted folder, organized by date. I watched their plot unfold in real time. I saw her complain that I wasn't saving for the ring fast enough. I saw Julian advise her on how to manufacture arguments to make me feel insecure. I had a year's worth of their conspiracy documented in perfect, undeniable detail. So when she stood in our kitchen, screaming about coffee creamer, I knew exactly what was happening. This was it. The final act. I had recently told her I had finally saved enough and was starting to look at rings. This fight was her preemptive strike, the justification for the breakup she was about to initiate. I let her scream until she was exhausted. Then, I played my part. I was apologetic. I was heartbroken. I begged her not to throw away what we had. This, of course, was exactly what she wanted. It fed her ego, and it set the stage for her final demand. She let me grovel for a day. Then she came to me, her expression one of grave, regal seriousness. "If you are truly sorry," she said, "if you really want me back, there's only one way. My father is the most important man in my life. His opinion means everything to me. You need to go to his house, apologize to him for your behavior, and formally ask for his blessing to continue your relationship with me. I need to know he approves of you. That he believes you're man enough to deserve me." It was the most absurd, most outrageously manipulative demand I had ever heard. And it was perfect. Her father, Mr. Henderson, is a good man. An old-school, no-nonsense guy who built his own construction business from the ground up. He values honesty, integrity, and hard work above all else. He and I have always gotten along. He likes me because I'm a straight shooter. He has no idea his daughter is a viper. She thought she was sending me on a mission of humiliation. She thought I would go to her father, hat in hand, and beg, solidifying her power over me. She had no idea I was about to go to her father and present him with a detailed, undeniable dossier on the true character of his daughter. "Okay," I said, my voice full of a fake, defeated sincerity. "I'll do it. I'll go talk to your dad." Update 1: I gave Megan a full day to savor her victory. I let her believe I was a broken man, nervously preparing for my pilgrimage of apology. On Thursday afternoon I called her father. "Mr. Henderson," I said, my voice steady. "It's David. Megan and I had a serious argument and I believe I owe you an apology for the distress it's caused her. She also said it was very important to her that I get your blessing for our future. I was hoping I could come by this evening to speak with you, man to man." Mr. Henderson, a man who appreciates old-school formality, was clearly pleased. "Of course, son," he said, his voice warm. "My door is always open. Come by around 7. Before I left my apartment, I prepared my evidence. I had spent the last year compiling the screenshots into a single chronological PDF file. I printed the entire 150-page document. I also loaded the file onto a new, clean tablet that I had bought specifically for this purpose. I wanted him to see the messages exactly as I had in their native format. I arrived at his house at 7 o'clock sharp. He welcomed me into his study, a warm, wood-paneled room that smelled of leather and sawdust. He offered me a drink and we sat in 2 large armchairs. "All right, David," he began, his expression serious but kind. "Megan is very upset. She said you two had a bad fight. What's on your mind?" This was the moment. I didn't get emotional. I presented my case like a project manager outlining a critical structural failure. "Sir," I began. "I'm here to ask for your blessing, but not in the way Megan expects. I'm here because I respect you and because I believe you deserve to know the truth about the person your daughter has become. For the last year, I have been the victim of a calculated long-term deception, and I have proof." I placed the thick printed document on the table between us. "This," I said, "is a record of the last 12 months of text messages between your daughter and a man named Julian." He looked at the document, then at me, his expression hardening with confusion and concern. "Before you read that," I said, "I want you to see it for yourself." I handed him the new tablet with the message thread already open. I discovered these by accident on our shared iPad at home. Once I understood what was happening, I began documenting them. He took the tablet. For the next hour, the only sound in the room was the quiet swipe of his finger on the screen as he scrolled through a year of his daughter's lies. I watched his face. I saw the initial confusion turn to shock. The shock turned to a deep, profound sadness. And the sadness slowly, inevitably, curdled into a cold, hard fury. He read the messages where they mocked my job. He read the details of their secret trips. He read their entire, cold-blooded plan to get me to buy an expensive engagement ring before she manufactured a fight and left me. He saw, in her own words, her complete and total lack of respect for me, for our relationship, and for the values he had tried to instill in her. When he finally reached the end, he placed the tablet on the table with a quiet, heavy thud. He didn't look at me. He just stared at the wall for a long time. "The coffee creamer," he finally said, his voice a low growl. "The fight was about coffee creamer." "Yes, sir," I said. That was the manufactured fight she had been planning for months. He finally turned to look at me, and his eyes were full of a terrible, fiery disappointment. "She is not the woman I thought I raised," he said, his voice thick with a pain that was deeper than anger. He stood up and walked over to the window, looking out into the dark. You came here to ask for my blessing, he said, his back to me. And you have it. You have my blessing to get as far away from my daughter as you possibly can. You are a good man, David. You build things. You're honest. You deserve a hell of a lot better than a daughter of mine who would stoop to this. He turned back to face me. His expression now one of grim resolve. This is not your mess to clean up, he said. It's mine. I am going to handle this. But first, there's something we need to do. Let's go pack her things. Update 2. The drive from Mr. Rat Henderson's house to my apartment was silent and heavy. He sat in my passenger seat, a statue of grim determination. We weren't two men connected by a woman we both loved anymore. We were two men united by a woman we had both been deceived by. When we walked into my apartment, Megan was on the sofa, scrolling through her phone, a smug expectant look on her face. She saw me first and her expression brightened. She thought I was returning, tail between my legs, with her father's blessing secured. Then she saw her father walk in behind me. Her smile vanished, replaced by a look of utter confusion. Dad. What are you doing here? Mr. Henderson didn't answer her. He just walked to the center of the room, his eyes scanning the space. He looked at the pictures of them on the wall, the little trinkets she had collected. Then he looked at her, and his expression was one I had never seen before. It was a look of profound, cold disappointment. Get your things, Megan, he said, his voice a low, dangerous rumble. You're leaving. What? She stammered, jumping to her feet. What are you talking about? Did you talk to David? He was supposed to apologize. I did talk to David, her father said. He showed me the truth. He showed me your text messages, all of them. The color drained from her face. It was the same look of pure, white-hot panic I had seen on the faces of other women in these stories, the look of a liar whose entire world has just been vaporized by an undeniable fact. No, she cried, her eyes darting to me. He's lying. He made them up. He's trying to poison you against me. Her father just shook his head, a look of deep weariness on his face. Stop, Megan, he said. Just stop. I saw the pictures. I saw the dates. I saw the plans. I saw what you said about the ring. There are no more lies to tell. He walked over to the hall closet, pulled out a stack of empty cardboard boxes I had for my last move, and dropped them on the floor in front of her. Start packing, he said. You have 1 hour. Then I am taking you home. The meltdown that followed was epic. She screamed. She cried. She pleaded. She accused me of being a manipulative monster. She accused her father of betraying her. It was a desperate, pathetic performance, but her audience was no longer on her side. Her father just stood there, his arms crossed, unmoved. I went into the kitchen and made myself a cup of coffee. I watched, a silent observer, as the life we had built together was dismantled, not by me, but by her own father. He was methodical. He directed her, telling her what to pack. He was not cruel, but he was firm. When she tried to pack the expensive laptop I had bought her for her birthday, he stopped her. That's not yours, he said. You will take only the things you brought into this home, and nothing else. An hour later, the living room was filled with boxes. Her father made her carry them out to his truck, one by one. As she was carrying the last box, she stopped in front of me. Her face was a mess of tears and rage. I hate you, she hissed. I know, I said calmly. Her father came back in for one last look around. He walked over to me and put a hand on my shoulder. I am truly sorry, David, he said, for everything. I know, sir, I replied. Thank you. He then walked over to the small desk where we kept our mail. He took out his checkbook, wrote a check and slid it onto the counter. It was a check made out to me. The amount was substantial. What's this for? I asked. That's for the ring you were going to buy, he said. And for the last year of your life that my daughter stole from you. It's not enough, but it's a start. It's called taking responsibility, a lesson she is about to learn the hard way. He then escorted his crying, defeated daughter out of my apartment for the last time. I stood at the window and watched as his truck pulled away, carrying her and the wreckage of her life with it. Final update. It has been 6 months since the night I have come to think of as the packing. The silence in my apartment in the days that followed was the most profound peace I have ever known. The chaos was over. The consequences, however, were just beginning to unfold. The first thing I did was cash the check for Mr. Henderson. I didn't want to at first. It felt strange. But then I realized he was right. It wasn't a payment. It was an act of honor. It was a father trying to right a wrong committed by his child. I used the money to pay off the last of my student loans and to book a long overdue trip to visit my own family. The story of what happened to Megan came to me through her father. He and I have stayed in touch. We meet for lunch once a month. He has become a friend, a mentor. He is a man of integrity, and he is grappling with the profound disappointment of realizing his daughter is not. He told me that the car ride home with Megan was a silent, miserable affair. When they got to her parents' house, he and her mother sat her down and laid out the new terms of her life. She was not welcome to stay there long term. She was an adult who had made a series of destructive choices, and she would now have to live with them. They gave her 1 month to find her own apartment and a new job. They were cutting her off financially, completely. The lover, Julian, was, of course, nowhere to be found. Once the dream of a comfortable life funded by my engagement ring evaporated, so did his affection. He wanted a partner in a heist, not a partner in starting from scratch. He broke up with her via text a week after she moved out of my place. Megan is now living in a small, cheap apartment in a less desirable part of the city. She is working as a receptionist. A job she feels is far beneath her. She is broke, alone, and her relationship with her parents is strained to the breaking point. They love her, but they no longer trust her. She is, for the first time in her life, truly on her own. Her father once told me, during one of our lunches, that the hardest part for him was not the affair. It was the cold, calculated nature of the plan. To cheat is a weakness of the flesh, he said. But to plot, for a year, to defraud a good man who loves you, that is a weakness of the character. That is a rot that goes deep. As for me, I am doing better than ever. I was promoted to lead project manager at my company. I've been focusing on my work, my health, and my own family. I have started dating again, cautiously. My new rule is simple. Radical honesty from day one. Megan demanded I go to her father and beg for his blessing. She thought she was sending me to my executioner. She never imagined that her father would be the one to hand me the sword. She built her entire plan on a foundation of lies, never realizing that the one person she couldn't fool was the man whose values she had so completely abandoned. The most brutal revenge wasn't mine to deliver. It was her father's. And it was simply the truth.